The story begins with two good-looking young men, dressed in fancy old-fashioned European outfits. They appear to be having a serious conversation, but it's all in the imagination of a high school girl named Kae Serinuma, who's in her second year. Kae is a big fan of manga and anime that depict romantic relationships between guys, known as fujoshi in Japan. She gets excited when she sees two boys sitting close together on a bus, even though they're just joking around like close buddies. Kae really enjoys the idea of romantic relationships between men, so she's thrilled to see these two young men getting along so well that she pictures them wearing those fancy European outfits and having a deep connection. As Kae arrived at school, she noticed the two guys from the bus again, and they were her classmates. One had black hair named Yusuke Igarashi, and he was part of the soccer club. Kae thought of him as a friendly and dependable guy, like a neighbor you can trust. The other guy, Mutsumi Nanashima, had blonde hair and had the bad boy look. He reminded Kae of Sion, her favorite anime character. While heading to her class, Kae met a senior named Azuma Mutsumi, who was also in the history club with her. Azuma greeted her with a smile, and Kae saw him as a confident and assertive young man. Kae was so lost in her daydreams about Azuma that she didn't pay attention to where she was going and bumped into a good-looking first-year student named Hayato Shinomiya, who was on the health committee. Hayato seemed efficient but easily flustered and blushed a lot. Kae thought of him as a tsundere, someone who acts tough but is actually kind. It was quite the opposite of Azuma. Once Kae and her friend Amane went to the school gym to watch a basketball game. Instead of focusing on the game, they imagined the strong friendships between the students playing and compared them to their favorite male characters in anime. Later that night, Kae was in her room watching her beloved anime series, Miragi Saga. She was a big fan of Sion's character in the anime. However, she got a shock when she discovered that Sion was announced as dead in the current episode. Sion's death in the anime made her feel really sad and down. Kae was so shocked that she stayed in her room for a whole week, and she didn't even eat the food her mother brought to her. Her mother got worried about Kae's well-being and asked her older brother Takeru to talk to Kae and convince her to come out of her room. Takeru eventually had to break down the door to get into Kae's room. He was really surprised by what he saw. Kae had lost a lot of weight and looked very different due to her severe depression and not eating for a whole week. Not only did Takeru notice the change, but Kae also didn't recognize herself when she looked in the mirror. She had become thin and looked pale because of her hunger strike. The next day, when Kae went to school, nobody recognized her because she had lost so much weight and now looked more attractive. When she walked into the classroom, her classmates were astonished to see that the beautiful girl they saw was actually Kae Serinuma, who they knew as a chubby fujoshi. Kae was feeling frustrated because everyone kept staring at her, and they couldn't believe that she was the same Kae Serinuma, who used to be a chubby fujoshi. In her frustration, she left the classroom and was approached by 4 handsome boys from her school. These boys were none other than Azuma, Yusuke, Nozomu, and Ayato, the same boys she had fantasized about as a fujoshi a few days earlier. It was a shock for Kae because she had imagined them in her daydreams, and now they were asking her out on a date. Unable to say no to these 4 handsome boys, Kae decided to go on a date with all of them at the same time. During the date, the 4 young men attracted a lot of attention from other girls because of their good looks. While they were walking, Kae saw a shop selling anime merchandise, and she struggled with the temptation to go inside and buy some because she didn't want the 4 guys to think she was too obsessed with anime. Kae found it really hard to resist the temptation of going into the merchandise shop, and she started acting strangely. This made the 4 handsome boys she was on a date with suspicious. Eventually, Kae couldn't resist any longer and rushed into the shop to buy her favorite anime character items. When she came out of the shop, she admitted to the 4 guys that she's an otaku. The next day, Kae told her best friend Amane about her date with the 4 handsome boys and everything that happened. While they were talking, a group of students from the theater club approached them. One of them, named Sakashita, asked Kae to be the female lead in a school play. Kae was really excited and agreed to be in the play. During the rehearsal for the school play, Kae was joined by Yusuke, Nozomu, and Ayato. Kae was really excited about practicing for her role in the school play, and she didn't take care of herself properly. She practiced even when it was raining. Azuma came and convinced Kae to take a break. She went inside, dried herself, and rested. Azuma checked her temperature and found out she had a fever, so he took her home. At home, Kae's mother told her that her classmates had visited her when she was sick and brought her cakes to help her get better. After being sick for a week at home, Kae ended up gaining weight again because she overate. Her classmates and Hayato were surprised by her weight gain. Yusuke, Nozomu, and Hayato thought about not pursuing Kae anymore because she was now overweight. However, Azuma was fine with it and didn't mind. Nozomu came up with an idea to help Kae lose weight and become slim and beautiful again through physical training. But Azuma didn't agree with this idea because he didn't want Kae to be forced into strenuous exercise just to be thin. Despite being overweight, Kae continued practicing for the school play. However, the teacher in charge of the theater club wasn't happy with her appearance and decided to replace her. This made Kae really sad and frustrated, so she decided to lose weight. Nozomu and Hayato were eager to help Kae with her weight loss journey and encouraged her to become slim and beautiful again. As Kae trained hard, Nozomu began to feel sorry for her and asked her to stop because he was concerned. But Kae was determined to lose weight and reclaim her role. M&A suggested that Nozomu and Hayato become close friends, romance, to motivate Kae, knowing she's a fujoshi who likes male relationships. Nozomu and Hayato followed M&A's advice, and even Yusuke joined in to make Kae more enthusiastic. Seeing their efforts, Kae became very excited and managed to lose weight quickly. She thanked Nozomu, Hayato, Yusuke, and Azuma for their continuous support and companionship. Not long after, Nozomu and Kae were alone in the classroom, and Nozomu surprised Kae by confessing his love for her. It was a sudden shock for Kae, but that wasn't the end of it. Kae was also surprised when Yusuke confessed his love, followed by Hayato and Azuma. All four handsome guys confessed their feelings to her almost at the same time, leaving Kae feeling very confused. Because of this, Kae decided to gather Nozomu, Yusuke, Hayato, and Azuma on the school rooftop. She planned to give them a riddle, and whoever solved it correctly would become her boyfriend. If none of them could answer, then she wouldn't date any of them. They all got the same number of right answers until the final question. Kae asked them to guess what she was thinking at that moment. Azuma was the one who answered correctly, so became Kae's boyfriend. After school, when they were walking alone, Azuma mentioned to Kae that she had lied about him answering the last question correctly. Azuma thought Kae chose him out of pity. Hearing this, Kae admitted to Azuma that he was right, and she felt bad for lying. She looked sad and guilty, but Azuma didn't mind it at all. He had actually loved Kae even before she lost weight. Azuma might seem more relaxed and less competitive than the other guys, but he could be protective when it came to Kae. He was very accepting of her fujoshi interests and didn't let it bother him. Later on, Kae and the others watched Yusuke as he practiced for a drama performance, where he played the role of a prince. Something happened that led to the female lead being unable to perform in the play. Sakashita then approached Kae and asked her to take on the role again. However, Kae declined his request and suggested that they choose Nozomu instead to be the female lead and act alongside Yusuke in the play. Kae made this suggestion to satisfy her strong fujoshi desires. Surprisingly, the theater club agreed to Kae's idea. So Nozomu and Yusuke were cast as partners in the school play, and they performed a romantic scene on stage. Kae and M&A, who were both fujoshi, were thrilled to watch the play and see Yusuke and Nozomu acting out romantic scenes similar to their favorite anime characters. So the moral of the movie is, if you're ever caught in a love quadrangle with handsome guys, just organize a rooftop riddle showdown to pick your boyfriend. But beware, honesty might ruin your plans and give you a boyfriend out of pity.